All right, welcome. This is DB Talking Now, DB Talking Birds, DB Talking Philadelphia Eagles. We have a little bit of stuff to get into, so let's go ahead and get into it. First things first, I do want to talk about the Nick Sirianni press conference that did obviously happen yesterday. Obviously he did seem a little bit nervous in front of the Philadelphia media, but honestly, anytime you have your first interview in front of the grueling Philadelphia media, it's going to go that way. But there are a few things that I thought were pretty impressive. I feel like he did a pretty good job overall. But there are some things that he did say that I was kind of taken aback by. One of those things was I just have never heard a head coach come out and openly speak about the control that the GM has. And when I say that, I am talking about him kind of openly saying that Howie Roseman has complete control of the 53-man roster. So that was a bit of a shock. And it kind of validated every belief that pretty much every Eagles fan and every media member already had. He did also come out and say after that, he does have control over the 46, which obviously would be the game day active roster. But if Howie Roseman has control over the 53, 46 doesn't really matter that much outside of that 7 other players. So it's a little bit. It does bother me a little. It does bother me a little bit. I mean, it does pretty much say that Howie Roseman is the one who drafted Jalen Hurts. Howie Roseman is the one who chose Jalen Reagor over Justin Jefferson. Howie Roseman is the one that did this, and this. So, yeah. I mean, the hope is this. The hope is that things start to change. I think that there is an underlying current of Howie Roseman just didn't trust Doug from the very get-go. I don't think Doug was their first choice, and I don't think that he trusted Doug Peterson from the very get-go. We know this for a fact is that he just didn't trust Doug with staffing hires. And I do want to talk about this a little bit. I think fans are forgetting the fact that personnel control doesn't come right away for a coach. In fact, it's a healthy thing for it not to come right away for a coach. I think we got a little blindsided and got spoiled with the fact that Andy Reid did have that control, but Andy Reid did nothing but win. He did nothing but win. He had to earn that personnel control that he acquired over the years of having success. So if Nick Sirianni goes on and continues to succeed, in a similar fashion to Andy Reid, and obviously it's a pretty tall task to even come close to matching that. But let's say he gets there, and he does a substantial enough job to earn him the right to ask for more personnel control, then we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But I think that's one thing that we have to remember. And of course, is it annoying? Is it infuriating when Howie Roseman makes moves like passing up DK Metcalf and selecting JJ Arcega-Whiteside? Yeah, of course it is. It's absolutely infuriating. But let's go ahead and get back to the Nick Sirianni press conference real quick. So he came out and immediately was questioned about the quarterback situation, and obviously he came out and said that he believes that both Jalen Hurts and Carson Wentz are top-notch quarterbacks, and believes that he's in a fruitful situation, whereas a lot of teams don't have any quarterbacks. So he didn't fully commit to either one, and I think that was the right way to. I think that was the right way to go in the situation, because they haven't really evaluated anybody yet, and he pretty much went ahead said that. So right now they're in the process of filling out the staff. They're in the process of evaluating. They're in the process of doing all these other things that will eventually lead to making a decision. And the other thing too is we don't know how Carson actually feels at the end of the day. And we don't know what the decision that they're going to make is at the end of the day. So they're going to go ahead and put the tape on. They're going to go ahead and evaluate. My belief is that they are in rehabilitation mode for Carson. They do want to keep Carson, but at the end of the day, if Carson wants to follow through and request a trade, he will go ahead and do that. But at that point, I think I probably will have to pull some. I will have to pull some of my faith in Carson out of the pool and say, why couldn't you just fight for your job, man? Why couldn't you just fight for your job? Just fight for your job. Just fight for your job. That's the mindset that you should put on right now. Like, I understand it. It is aggravating, irritating, and really shitty, but prove us wrong. Be angry. Use it as revenge. Just say, hey, you're wrong, and I'm going to show you you're wrong. And then blow up the league. That's what we want in a Philadelphia quarterback. That's what we want. And that's what we want Carson to do. We want Carson Wentz to do that. And we hope that he does. So, the other thing I want to talk about too, obviously, Malcolm Jenkins came out and said that that we gave Carson Wentz too much leeway. Malcolm Jenkins, what are you doing talking about us, talking about your former team? Why don't you pay attention to your current team and how they absolutely fell apart towards the end of the season? Why don't you focus on that? How about that, Malcolm Jenkins? Malcolm Jenkins came out and said that we gave Carson Wentz too much leeway, and that's what happened with the Eagles. The Eagles' issue was that we gave him too much leeway. We weren't hard on him enough, and go like, you know. Here's the thing. There are some former Eagles players that I will listen to whenever they want to talk about the organization after they've already left the organization. But there's only one that I'd actually really put a lot of value into, and that is Emmanuel Acho, obviously, as he joins Marcellus Wiley. Emmanuel Acho is a really intelligent human being, and usually everything that he says is pretty phenomenal. But Malcolm Jenkins, you're still in the league. Your team fell apart towards the end of the season. You guys had the top ranked defense for pretty much the entirety of the season. You guys fell apart, and you're coming out and talking about your former team. Why? Moving on. There is a report. Obviously, I did address this in a previous stream because during my live stream I was asked about it by one of my followers, AJ Styles, about the report of the Eagles drafting Kyle Pitts, tight end from the Florida Gators. Look, and I want to address it a little bit more. The report is this: that the Eagles might want to draft Kyle Pitts in order to replace Zach Ertz, because the report is that the Indianapolis Colts are interested in Zach Ertz, and that's where Zach Ertz might end up. As far as I'm concerned, that report was based off of one mock draft from a writer that I really haven't ever heard the name of until just a couple days ago, and so his name is slipping my mind. But tight end Kyle Pitts out of Florida, out of the University of Florida, is mocked to go in the first round by most mock drafts. And look, we have the 6th overall pick. We're not taking a tight end with the 6th overall pick. If we do, it would be a complete shock. Now look, if we if we traded back out of pick 6 and picked up another first round, and that other first round pick happened to be a late round pick, and we drafted Kyle Pitts, then I could understand it. But at this rate, and given the current circumstances, I don't see Kyle Pitts coming to Philadelphia. So I kind of am gonna cut off that train really quickly, because my take is this: I want Jamar Chase at pick 6. I understand the steam trailing Devontae Smith, but I am hesitant on drafting another another burner. I understand in college he is much more than that, but look, in college he is much more than that. The NFL is going to be a little bit different. We've seen the likes of Brandon Cooks put up the same numbers in college. We've seen the likes of Hollywood Brown look the same in college. Whereas guys who are a little bit more refined, like Jamar Chase, transition to the NFL just a little bit better. The report is that if Jamar Chase declared for the draft last season, he probably would have gone above Jerry Jeudy, and he probably would have gone above CeeDee Lamb, and his fellow wide receiver core teammate, Justin Jefferson, wouldn't have gone as high as he did. So if Jamar Chase is still there at pick number 6, that's who I would like the Eagles to take. And I have addressed on who I would like them to go with the second and third round picks as well in my previous stream, but I'm gonna go ahead and leave that for future streams, so we can or future videos, so we can talk about that in a little bit more depth. So getting back to Nick Sirianni's press conference, however, I am excited by some of the things he said. He did go ahead and reference the fact that they did have to put together 3 different game plans for 3 different quarterbacks over the last 3 years, because that is exactly what they had to do. And we're talking about Andrew Luck, we're talking about Jacoby Brissett, we're talking about Phillip Rivers. Each guy is a little bit different, and they had to find different ways to win with each guy. And that's one of the things that he wants to focus on. It's about getting the best out of each player and not relying on the scheme, adjusting the scheme to the player, not the player to the scheme. And I think that is where Doug Peterson fell short, is he was reliant upon his scheme too much. And that's why I think that we saw Carson Wentz kind of really fly high in 2017. Is Frank Reich was that kind of guy. And when he left, it all went out the window. So I'm really hoping, and I'm really hoping that Nick Sirianni is the key to unlocking Carson Wentz's potential again. And it's not even just that. It's not even just unlocking Carson Wentz's potential. It's getting back on the same wavelength as what it means to have Carson Wentz progress at all, because last year was complete regression. So, and we definitely don't want to continue there. So again, as I said in the previous stream, really excited about the hire of Brian Johnson. Did some great things as an offensive coordinator for the Florida Gators. I'm really excited for the hire of Jason Michael. Was a former offensive coordinator and is becoming our tight ends coach. Was the tight ends coach for the Indianapolis Colts. Is coming over to Philadelphia Eagles to become the tight ends coach. So that is a good move. Did some great things with Mo Ali Cox of the Indianapolis Colts, and we'll see if he can get some great things out of Dallas Goedert. I expect Dallas Goedert to progress anyway, but we have a few developmental guys at tight end, like the conversion of Hakeem Butler from wide receiver to tight end. I think that they're going to explore that a little bit more, so that's another reason why I want to pump the brakes on the Kyle Pitts thing. because they are going to try and find a second tight. They are definitely looking for a second tight end, but we've seen them. I think that they want to try and go in that developmental route, and we've seen them pick up some players already in the off season, where the players converting over from different positions into tight end. So I think that's what they're going to try and do. Obviously, I believe we still have Richard Rodgers under contract, so I would like to keep him too. We have to remember there's Richard Rodgers. Richard Rodgers is he's a productive second tight end for us, so I expect that as well. One thing I also want to get into, and this is just leading us into other videos in the future, is it's going to be really important that Howie Roseman does break trend a little bit in this offseason. And by that I mean we got to look at some linebackers, man. We got to look at some linebackers. I think that I don't think Micah Parsons is going to be the pick at 6, unfortunately. Unless everybody else is off the board that's on our board. But there will be some guys. There will be some guys in the second round that we can take. There will be some guys in the third round that we can take that are adequate quality linebackers. There's going to be Anthony Walker from the Colts in free agency if the Colts don't re-sign him. There's going to be some moves to be made to be able to turn this team around. So we'll just have to continue to be with each other, be on the pulse, be on the clock, and continue to talk about it. But hey, make sure you put your questions, your comments in the comment box below, and please like and subscribe. This is DB Talking Now, DB Talking Birds, DB Talking Philadelphia Eagles. I will continue to be with you, and we will continue to make sure that we get through this crazy offseason, probably the most important offseason of this team's organization that we've seen in a very, very long time. So, DB Talking Now, DB Talking Birds, DB Talking Philadelphia Eagles. You guys have a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful Saturday. Go Birds, baby.